Greetings, everyone. In 1990 and 91, I was a huge fan of Twin Peaks. This is the definitive gold box DVD edition. This is an example of a TV series set done right. It's loaded with extras, it's very respectful of the original material, and it's great. When Twin Peaks was cancelled in 1991, it's like there was a void in my weekly television watching schedule. But it was a void that was quickly filled by Dark Shadows. Now, Dark Shadows originally was a 60s and 70s soap opera. It was a daytime soap opera. Ran for 5 years. 1,225 episodes total. Soap operas tend to produce way more episodes in a season than your typical weekly show. All of which are available on DVD. So when I heard that there was going to be a DVD release of the new series from 1991, I was really excited because it was one of my favorite shows. It was great story, great cast, terrific, production value, and just really spooky and scary and dramatic and awesome. So I was really thrilled until I saw the DVD set and what they'd done to it. How could something so great and so potentially awesome and so easy to do as a DVD set be screwed up so badly? Yep, you guessed it. It's rant time again. So, I don't have a Dark Shadows t-shirt, so I thought this was as close to appropriate as I have in my wardrobe. Given that it's a series that deals with vampires quite a bit, I thought, let's have some kind of vampire-related thing going on. And in case you're wondering, it's actually not from one of the movies. It's from the Royal Winnipeg Ballet production of Dracula. I saw it the first time it came to town. It was quite good. So yeah, Dark Shadows, the remake series on DVD. Why did they screw it up so badly? Okay, well, Dark Shadows on video, on home video, has about as long a history as the original series itself. It's huge. I mean, it's a huge, popular show with like a massive, fiercely devoted fan base. It's like the Trekkies of daytime soaps, Well, I mean, most soap operas have quite a sizable fan base. But Dark Shadows in particular, because it was so unique and different, I think, it has a huge fan base that has been, very loyal and supportive of the show for years. I mean, how many other shows can you think of, like daytime soaps, that ran for only 5 years, which isn't a long time for a soap opera, not only still have fans today who remember it, but have every single episode available on home video. Now, the home videos originally, in the, I guess, 80s and 90s, was put out on VHS. A company called MPI Home Video was putting out VHS releases of the entire series. Their goal was to release all 1,225 episodes, and they did. They put the whole damn thing out on video. All told, they put 5 episodes per tape. So, in the end, you had about 254 volumes, if I remember correctly. And that's just of the show. They also put out documentaries, specials, behind-the-scenes, bloopers, outtakes, reunions, a whole pile of additional, bonus videos that you could get to, Then they had, like, summaries of the major story arcs and all kinds of things. So there was all this stuff that you could do. MPI took it really seriously and did, like, the ultimate collection for fans. And then in more recent years, they've started re-releasing it on DVD in collections, boxed set collections, which contain 40 episodes per set, which is pretty good. So, the daytime soap opera, 5 episodes represents 1 week of the show. So one set of the DVDs gives you 8 weeks of the show in one nice convenient package. So great stuff. Big kudos to MPI Home Video. Now, back in the day, after the Dark Shadows Revival series was canceled, it only lasted like a short season, a half season. The equivalent of 13 one-hour episodes. There was basically a 2-hour premiere and then 11 more episodes after that. So it's counted as 12 episodes, even though it was 13 hours of television, which is, you know, typical for a mid-season replacement show, which is what it was. So MPI Home Video released all 12 episodes on VHS. Now, the cool thing was they did it in a nice way for fans. They put they dug into the archives and got additional footage for 2 of the episodes. So you had like extended versions of the first and last episodes, which is pretty cool. All told, you got I think about 20 minutes of additional footage there, so stuff that didn't air on television. So that's a nice bonus. They also put out another VHS tape, which called Dark Shadows Resurrected, which was basically an hour-long documentary all about the making of the show, which was really cool. Interviews with cast, crew, everybody, and it was quite a thorough behind-the-scenes special. So once again, big kudos to MPI Home Video. They did a great job on that, and it was something that the fans could, cherish and enjoy. So when I heard that the Dark Shadows Revival series was coming out on DVD, I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. So, because I'd never actually got the VHS sets. I had like the first episode back in the day, and then sold it many moons ago. And then, but I had actually taped all the episodes when they were on TV, so I wasn't in a huge rush to buy the videos. But I'd always meant to at some point anyway, just to have better quality copies. And so when I heard it was coming out on DVD, I was really excited because I thought, wow, just judging by what MPI did with the VHS releases, this DVD set should be awesome. It should have like everything that was on the DVDs and probably maybe a new featurette and a whole bunch of, cool extras, and it's going to be great and in full DVD quality. Awesome. Can't wait. Going to buy that like the day it comes out. Well, I didn't buy it the day it came out because prior to release, I was reading about the specs on the set. First off, well, let's count the number of things they got wrong. First one, big one. Okay, Dark Shadows was released in 1991. Full screen aspect ratio. Okay, 4:3, full screen aspect ratio. It was filmed full screen, it was broadcast full screen, the image is framed for full screen, like the composition of the image. It is a full screen show, shot and edited and broadcast and intended to be viewed full screen. So why is the DVD release in widescreen? Widescreen! Okay? It's not a widescreen show. You get nothing extra by putting it in widescreen. In fact, you get less, because to put a full screen show into widescreen aspect ratio means you have to crop it. See, in this case, I'm filming this in widescreen. That's the way it's intended to be viewed. You're not missing any image on the top and bottom. What you're seeing is the full image, as I have filmed it, as it is intended to be seen. If I were to put this into full screen, that would mean I would have to chop off the sides to fit that aspect ratio. But I'm not going to do that because, well, it's pointless. Who cares? But for a full screen show, leave it in full screen. But I totally know why they did it, because widescreen televisions are becoming the norm, so they did it to, make it conform better to widescreen televisions. The odd thing was they did the title sequence pillar boxed. Pillar boxed is basically the widescreen equivalent of letterboxing. Now, of course, with a widescreen television, something like this, you wouldn't have the black bars on the top and bottom. It would just fill the screen. But for a full screen aspect ratio show, in order to properly preserve the aspect ratio and not distort the image by stretching it out to fill widescreen TV, you pillar box it, which means you've got the image filling the screen top to bottom, but the sides have black bars on them. Okay? Now this, what you're seeing here with the black bars, is called letterboxing. So there's a difference. So this is letterbox. This way is letterboxed. This way is pillar boxed. So the correct way to do a widescreen television compatible, like properly compatible image in widescreen aspect ratio is to pillar box it. So they did the opening titles that way, which if you watch it on a regular TV, it looks like it's in this tiny little window in the middle of the screen. But if you watch it on a full screen, or like on a widescreen TV, it looks fine. But Yeah, so they pillar boxed the opening titles and then cropped the rest of the show. So that's a big, big issue. And while I'm on the subject, I really hope this is not going to be a trend. Because it's like for years, we've been forced to endure full-screen versions of movies and such where they chop off the sides and blow up the image to fill the screen. Now what are they going to do? Going to take all our full-screen TV shows and chop off the tops and bottoms? Come on! Just give us the picture as it's supposed to be! However it was shot, filmed, and intended to be seen, that's what I want to see. I don't frickin' care if there's black bars on the sides. I don't care if there's black bars on the top and bottom. I want to see it in the correct aspect ratio that it was filmed in and intended to be seen in by the original creators. Okay? Is that so difficult? We're seeing this as a trend. I've seen it on 2 other occasions that I can think of. There's this one. Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. Kung Fu, or sorry, not Kung Fu, The Legend Continues, the original Kung Fu. Kung Fu was made in the 60s. It's a 60s TV show, okay? Definitely not widescreen. So what do? The entire first season set is widescreen. Why? There is no point to that. On the plus side, for the second season onward, well, I guess there's 3 seasons if I remember correctly. The second and third seasons they did full screen, but they have never re-released the first season with a corrected aspect ratio, and that's ridiculous. The other example is V, and V: The Final Battle. Once again, full screen shows cropped to widescreen. The only exception is I heard through the grapevine that the first miniseries was actually filmed in widescreen because it got a theatrical release over in Europe. So in that case, it's okay, because it's an exception. But the second miniseries was made for television and only shown on television, and therefore, full screen. But they put the DVD in widescreen. Why? There's no point to this. The other problem, as I said, MPI basically has a long, long history, like 20-year history of releasing Dark Shadows on home video formats. So why, including the Revival series, so why was the Revival series put on DVD by MGM? Clearly, whoever authored the DVDs and put them together doesn't care 2 shits about the show. Why didn't MPI do it? I'm guessing they lost the rights or something, but you know, it's ridiculous, because MPI would have done it properly. MPI has always been respectful of the source material and of the fans, and strove to give them exactly the kind of product that they want. But the problems don't stop there, okay? The widescreen issue is the biggest one by far, and that really infuriates me, and I want to see that trend stop now, because it's butchering our old shows. The other issue is, remember how I mentioned the VHS releases had extra footage? Nowhere to be seen in the DVD release. It's strictly the original broadcast versions. That's it. No additional footage, not even in a deleted scenes section. Nothing. There is nothing. It's just the original broadcast cuts. So that's 20 minutes of additional footage that the VHS release had that the DVD version does not. The other thing was the making of special. The making of special that MPI put out. Nowhere to be seen on the DVDs. In fact, there are no extras of any kind on the DVDs. It's a bare bones release. Now that documentary would have been great. I mean, it's ready-made. Just get the rights to it and put it on the DVD. But no, that would have been too much effort. Finally, number 4. So there's widescreen. Why did MGM release it and not MPI? No extra footage. No extras. Okay, so actually number 5. Number 5. Day for Night. Now those of you who know anything about, you know, sort of ways to fake things in the movies on the cheap, it's fairly expensive to film night scenes at night. And Dark Shadows, of course, was made on a television budget, so they needed to cut corners wherever they could. A lot went into the set design and the costumes and the visuals of the show. So they needed to, you know, save some money somewhere so they could put more into that. I'm guessing, anyway. But to save money, it's not an uncommon practice to do what they call day for night. Basically means they film a night scene during the day, and then post-process the image to darken it and lower the color temperature so that it appears to be nighttime. So that way it's easier to light and doesn't cost as much to film. So in the case of Dark Shadows, there's a lot of night scenes, and it would have been, I guess, cost prohibitive for them to do that much, that sheer volume of material at night. So they do it as day for night. Now here's the problem. On the DVD release, I don't know what the hell cut they were using, but all the day for night shots are unprocessed. That means you have, you know, scenes of vampires walking around in broad daylight talking about the magic and the mystery of the night. In broad frickin' daylight. The VHS release had the proper processed day for night shots, which does not, you know, oh, I don't know, take you out of the reality of the show and just take you out of the moment. I mean, if anything's going to take you out of the moment, it's watching a vampire show with vampires walking around in broad daylight. I mean, there was a subplot going on where the main character, Barnabas, who's the main vampire in it, was looking for a cure to his vampirism, and there are some shots where, there are some episodes where he actually is walking around in the daytime. That's fine, but not before that. When he's got his temporary cure for vampirism, it's fine to have him walking around in the daylight, but not when he's still a full-blown vampire. Anybody who knows anything about vampire movies knows that, well, they don't last very long in the sunlight. So, yeah, 5 major issues. Well, the one about MGM releasing it, maybe not such a major issue, if they had done it right. I mean, how hard is it to just do it properly? Use the VHS tapes as an example. That's how you do it properly. In fact, I was so infuriated by MGM's handling of this that I went onto eBay and bought all 12 volumes of the VHS tape. So I now have the complete VHS set. And I'm very happy because it is, without question, the most definitive collection of that series available. So if you're thinking of getting the Dark Shadows Revival series on DVD, don't. Go onto eBay, track down the original VHS releases, or go to MPI Home Video. I think they've got a website. I'm pretty sure they're actually still available. So they're allowed to sell the VHS version, I guess, but not the DVD version. But, man, I cannot believe how badly they screwed it up. And it would have been so easy to do it right. So, yeah. In this case, the picture and sound quality may not be the same, but in terms of pure, sheer content, the VHS set is definitely the way to go. Too bad it takes up so much bloody shelf space. Oh well. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Dark Shadows, the Revival series. Don't buy the DVD. It's crap. Buy the VHS edition. Or find somebody who's transferred the VHS edition to DVD and get that instead. I don't know. That's what I'm probably going to do with my set, just to preserve it. Well, that's it from me for now. So thanks for watching. And until next time, sayonara. Greetings, everyone. In 1990 and 1991, I was a huge fan of Twin Peaks. This is the definitive gold box DVD edition. This is an example of a hair.